going to take more than an hour in this program because this is a complaint. This is a news that I just received. And I believe that this news, I received it from a very reliable source about the plans of the cabals in Aso Rock, about the plans of the presidency in Aso Rock. That is the reason why I am here. And if you watch in front of my screen, you will see the information that I received. I am going to translate this information. I'm going to copy it and paste it where you are going to also be reading with me this information. And in this information, it contains the plans of this presidency over the court case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But before we go there, I want to reflect back over a few months ago, where this Ohaneze and all these people who were saying they are going to meet Mr. President over the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And they went and they met with the president, and the president issued a statement saying that he does not, if there is one thing he does not interfere with in Nigeria, it is the judiciary. It is the judiciary that he does not interfere with in Nigeria. But today we are going to find out whether the Mr. President of Nigeria or whoever it is in Aso Rock, the presidency, is actually interfering with judiciary or not. Or is he playing a political joker on IPOB and the international community? Because I believe and I know fully well that the reason for this, before we go to this information, the reason for this, for this statement issued by Mr. Buhari or whoever he is in Aso Rock, calling on the international allies to label IPOB, to stop IPOB. I will tell you the reason, because that reason is what is right in front of your screen. You will not be able to see it until I translate it. I translate it to another software where you will be able to see it better. Now, let me bring this to you before we proceed. Because in our own ways, we always try to bring and use whatever you said against you. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. I am going to first of all reflect on what Buhari did few days ago, what he said few days ago, calling on the international community. Now let us read this one before we go to the information I receive, the intel I receive, coming out from the presidency in Aso Rock. Buhari asks US, UK order to ban IPOB. Why? Now let's read the news. President Mohammed Buhari has asked the nation's Western allies to proscribe the indigenous people of Biafra as a terrorist organization. He made the remarks in an interview with Bloomberg. The president was responding to a question about his administration's record on fighting insecurity and corruption. According to Buhari, the country is safer than he met in 2015, and proscribing IPOB, a group seeking secession of part of southern Nigeria, will improve the situation. That is the statement of Buhari. We leave Nigeria in a far better place than we found it. The president said corruption is less hidden for Nigeria. Feel empowered to report it without fear, while money is returned. Terrorists no longer hold any territory in Nigeria, and their leaders are deceased. And vast infrastructure developments set the country on course for sustainable and equitable growth. In 2015, Boko Haram held territory the size of Belgium within the borders of Nigeria. Today, they are close to extinct as a military force. The leader of ISWAP was eliminated by Nigeria Air Force airstrikes in March. The jet acquired from the US intelligence shared by British were not provided to previous administration and stand as a testament to renew trust rebuild between Nigeria and our traditional Western allies. Under my government, we urge those same international partners to take additional steps costing them nothing by proscribing the group IPOB as a terrorist organization. Their leadership enjoys safer haven in the West, broadcasting hate speech into Nigeria from London, spending millions lobbying members of the US Congress, and freeing using international financial network to arm agitators on the ground. This must stop, according to the president. My administration is the only in Nigeria history to implement a solution to decades-long header farmers conflict, exacerbating by the desertification and the demographic growth. The National Livestock Transformation Plan, putting ranching at its core, is the only way to deplete the competition for resources at the core of the clashes. Governors from some individual states have sought to play politics where ranches have been established, but where there have been disputes have dramatically reduced, according to Mr. President. And this is where I am going to leave this path for now. According to Mr. President, this is what he did, calling on the international community to proscribe the IPOB a few days ago. And now I am going to tell you the reason. He even mentioned that IPOB was blowing up pipelines and causing mayhem. Now, another question that you need to be asking yourselves: why is it that every time there is a week to the court case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, breaking news will sum up and the Nigeria government will blame it on IPOB, and Nigeria government will say it is IPOB? They blew up a pipeline just to stop the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I am going to read the information for you. While after this analysis, they blew up a pipeline just to label it on IPOB, for him to call the international community to label IPOB a terrorist. Oh, the last court case of our leader, when it was approaching, they killed mercilessly two military couple, with a lot of things behind it in order to label it on IPOB. And another thing they did, the last court case of our leader, which was supposed to hold last month, it was postponed. Reason for the postponement of that, court sitting, because they want to see what primaries will look like. Now the primary elections, it has taken place. Now there is three candidates from three regions that we know in Nigeria. These three candidates that is out there have it because the presidency and its cabals in Aso Rock, they have seen what is going on. They have seen how people are actually, promoting P2B from the east, west, and some part of the north, promoting P2B. And the presidency, they have come to a conclusion that if they release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that he will enable P2B to win election. Now I want to advise this presidency and the Nigeria cabals that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a politician. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a politician. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a freedom fighter and has no interest on whatsoever is called politics in Nigeria. Therefore, you cannot use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as a political joker. Now, let me share the news that I have at my disposal. I am going to copy the words into a word where I will be able to view it. The news is actually on, my notepad. It is actually on my notepad, which I will not be able to read it properly if I leave it on the notepad. So I want to bring it together. This is the information that I received, just few hours ago. I am going to bring it to you so that you will know whatever you see that is happening on the 28th of June in the court sitting of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You should be aware that I informed you about it, because they are playing a political game with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I can categorically assure you right now that the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the bail application has been received by the court of Nigeria, and they have no reason to deny Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a bail, because after their investigation, they found out that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail, but rather he was running away for his safety and for his life. That was what happened in 2017. Now let us go to that news. Let me bring it to another software where we will be able to read it, and we read it together. Just 1 minute. Let me copy this and place it where I will be able to increase the characters and pull it together a little bit closer to each other, because it is actually everywhere in what I have here. Now, let us read this news. Let us read it. I want you to see here. Our leaders release come 28 June. Now, read with me. There is a conspiracy by cabal to use Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, for a political joker. Buhari is the one holding our leader, not the court. Buhari is the one holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and not the court. It is not the court holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but it is Buhari that is holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And we are going to continue reading. Nigeria has no judiciary because the government dictates. Because the government dictates what happens in the court. The body language of Mr. President is not showing that our leader should be released on the 28th June. International community have asked Buhari to release our leader, but he refused because of his political joker. Now, let me make it more clear to you. I will make it more clear to you here before we proceed. Now, the reason why Buhari came few days ago to call on international community, or maybe Western ally, if I may place it the way he quoted it, that he is calling on the international Western allies to stop IPOB and label them a terrorist, just because the international community they have investigated. They found that IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have no case to answer, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. Rather, he ran away for his life in order for him not to be killed. There is a saying that says it is only a tree that found out that it is going to be cut off, and it remains rooted where it is. That is the reason. That was the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ran for his life when there was a military exercise that was sent to his house in Afaruku Ibeku by Nigeria government to exterminate him. And they believe by exterminating of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, extermination of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, rather, we stop the agitation and we allow these Fulani crusaders to come into Nigeria and Biafra land and take over everything. That was the reason why they sent those military to go and exterminate him. But as God may have it, he escaped that attack. But today, now they are playing a political joker because the international community has investigated. They have investigated and found out that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime known to law. And now they call on Buhari and the presidency to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But he is refusing because. Now let us read further. You can see his recent submission to the Western world that are pressuring him to release our leader. The Western world that are pressuring him to release our leader because he has failed to make IPOB look like criminal organization. That's why he introduced the idea of telling the world that it's IPOB, that telling the world that IPOB is responsible for vandalization of pipelines. He is trying to make the world to believe that because Nigeria, these cabals, they are ready to go to any length in order to try every possible means of incriminating IPOB. But what they did not know is that we move faster than them, and we are formidable, and we will expose them before they take their next step. And that is exactly what I am doing here. If you are indeed IPOB and you are in support of what we are doing at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you should share this video and tag every organization that stands for democracy and the human rights for them to understand what is going on. And I want to categorically assure you that international community is on our side, and they know that we have not committed any crime known to international law or known to local law in Nigeria, but because of the faulty foundation of Nigeria justice system, Buhari is using Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case as a political joker. Now let us continue reading. That statement is just a sentiment because Western world is benefiting from Nigeria oil. He thought if he bring IPOB into vandalization, the world will proscribe IPOB. International community is aware that IPOB has no business with oil or vandalization of pipelines. Buhari is still holding our leader simply because of 2023 election. So IPOB should not be hopeful of any magic come 28th of June. From the intel available to us from Aso Rock, the judge have seen that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent of all the charges against him and had wanted to give Nnamdi Kanu bail in the last court sitting, but he was threatened, or she was threatened by the cabals in presidency. The morning of the court sitting, That was why she did not come to court that day. What is still holding our leader in the court when the Federal High Court in Umuahia have stated that our leader did not jump bail, that means our leader is still on bail. Then what is he still doing in the DSS dungeon? The presidency is afraid that if our leader comes out, that he will help Ipob, who is already winning the election, to win. Funny enough, they don't know our leader. He is not interested in who becomes the president or not. His only interest in Biafra, his only interest is in Biafra, is in Biafra restoration. Our leader is not interested in Nigeria politics. If you like, vote. If you don't like, don't vote. He is not interested. Even if Ipob wins, our leader will continue with his agitation for Biafra until Biafra comes. Buhari should follow the path of honor and release our leader and call for referendum, because if he fails to do that, Biafrans will not stop agitation until Biafra comes. We are prepared to wait as long as he wants. All we know is that Biafra or death. Let's keep praying for our leader, because he is coming out someday, but I see no hope on 28th, because Buhari is still holding him for what he called his last joker. For what he called his last joker. That is the end of the information that we receive, that Buhari is using Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for his political joker. The court has finalized the case and the bail application and the hearing, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was supposed to be released on the last supposedly court sitting, but it was postponed because even the judge is being threatened by these cabals in the presidency, because they believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to turn into politics. And that is the reason why we need to start making it categorically clear to all this, political or politicians or presidency in Aso Rock, that we are not into politics. We are not into politics. What we are into is agitation for restoration of Biafra, nothing else. It does not matter who wins Nigeria election or who loses. What we know and what we are up for is for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the day of referendum. And the international community is aware of everything that is taking place and happening in Nigeria, and they have called on president to release him. And they know that it is not the justice system or judiciary that is holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu anymore. They know that it is Buhari that is holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And that is the reason why they called on him to release him. That is the same reason why he responded by calling on them back to stop the agitation by prescription of IPOB, and pushing a propaganda that IPOB, they are destroying or vandalizing pipelines, because when the joker they played there, the reason why they involved the pipeline, it is nothing but because the pipeline is something that the Western world, part of the Western world, they are benefiting from Nigeria. He believed when their hoodlums destroy the pipelines, he will pose it on IPOB, because this Fulani-led government is ready to do anything and everything in order to stop this agitation, in order to stop the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, let me remind the cabals in Aso Rock, let me remind Nigeria that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not the Fulani headsman killing people. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not the Boko Haram exterminating people, displacing people from their homes and taking over communities. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not the ISWAP that is killing people all over the place. The Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Biafrans, we are not the crusaders that are trying to colonize Nigeria and all the territory in that region. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is only asking for what is his right and the right of every human that dwells around the world. You have right to choose whom you are going to associate with. That is called a freedom of association. You have right to choose whom you are going to live with. Freedom of association. You have right to complain. Freedom of speech. You have right to agitate. Freedom of speech. You have right to say that you cease to be in a country where you found yourself. You have right to to say that you are no longer part of the country where you dwell. Or you have right to say you are no longer a citizen of a country of your birth. You have that right. And that right is what we are discharging. We did not commit any crime. We have not committed any crime. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that has been in DSS dungeon in the past 12 months, has not committed any crime. Not to any law. Rather, Nigeria and its cabals, Nigeria and its presidency has committed a lot of crime against the indigenous people. We are disciplined. We have a peaceful movement. We are not calling for any violence of whatsoever, but we stand to defend ourselves because we have right to freedom of speech. Freedom of self-defense. A self-defense is not a crime in any law across the world. If there is a 200 and something countries that make up of this world, self-defense is not a crime in any of these countries. Why is it going to be a crime in Nigeria? Why should we be sitting back and watching these Fulani crusaders coming into our land, destroying our land, destroying our farmland, destroying our means of livelihood, and you expect us to fold our arms and watch them? Because some of these people we call our political leaders and elite, they are benefiting from the predicament of a common man on the ground. We say no to that, and that is the reason why we will continue to agitate until Biafra comes, because we have no hope in Nigeria. In the past 60 years, we have been marginalized, we have been killed, we have been displaced. We are running away from the system and the initiative of late Lugard, which he implemented in the year 1914 by bringing different set of people, different belief system, different way of thought, different cultures, different norms and value system. They brought us together and called us one Nigeria. And today we are realizing that this ideology of a late Lugard, of a dead man, is not working. And we have tried for the past 60 years to see if we are going to find a way to navigate through it, but it never worked. Rather, it made us to run away from our countries, made us to run away from every part of the countries, and we run overseas. And it does not even affect these people who call themselves our leaders, because for all they care, they want us to keep running until the country is empty for them and their family to dwell and inherit everything that belongs to everybody in that region. And that is the reason why we can no longer take that. Our unborn generation cannot continue in this faulty foundation that we found ourselves, that made us to keep running from that system. That system is a faulty foundation. Any man, any woman, any child who believes in that system is a person who is trying to build on a sandy soil. Remember, a foundation of every structure determines what that structure will look like. The foundation of that structure you see in Nigeria is a faulty foundation, and therefore we can no longer, bear the burden, because our next generation is growing up, and we cannot watch them to keep running helter-skelter to go out there in overseas doing menial jobs and being treated as less than animal. Because our people across the world, our people are in more than 200, if there is 228 countries of the world or less, our people is in all these countries. They are scattered across all these countries. Why? And they keep telling us that Nigeria will be good if you believe Nigeria will be good. In the last 6 decades, we've been hearing that, and we've been hearing that education is the key. Education is the key. For those of you who will pass through this education, at the end of the day, where you're supposed to attend a class for 5 years, you might find yourself attending a class for 8 years because of strike and strike and strike. At the end of that, you believe that this awoken generation will bear that and continue to live blindly with this set of people who call themselves the Nigeria cabals, who are a neo-colonial tool to oppress their own people. Because what Nigeria is practicing, prior to the time I was born, I began to walk, I began to talk, I began to digest and be able to comprehend what is going on around me. It is only injustice. Nigeria happened to me when I was barely 17 years old. This issue of I follow and I no follow. A crime was committed. Just because I was within that vicinity, police came and they picked everybody up, including a 15-year-old child. We were in a holding cell with a 15-year-old child as well. In a holding cell with criminals. If you don't want to be in a dark cell, when you did not commit any crime, you have to pay the sum of 1,000 naira for them to put you in a cell where there is light, where you will find a mat, this tiny mat to sleep on. That is exactly what was going on in Nigeria, and we can no longer bear that anymore. We can no longer bear that anymore. This generation is a walking generation. We pass through all these, injustices. We pass through all these, all these inhuman, activities. We pass through them. We run away from them. And we can no longer continue to be running. So many of us, we cannot go home. Just the way you see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He was not even home. They wanted to kill him at home. He ran for his life. They went to Kenya, and with the help of Kenya government, they extraordinarily renditioned him to Nigeria, and today he's been in a holding cell for the past 12 months, and the justice system is being manipulated by the presidency. Which country on earth is it happening? Which country does such thing happen? And that is the reason why we are calling on the international community. We are calling on the international community. We are calling on the Western world that still understand the right of people and the right of every human to come for our aid, because there is nothing that is going to stop this agitation. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, when he was the beginning of this agitation, he called for restructuring. He called for restructuring. That was the reason why he got, arrested in 2015. because Nigeria does not want to do anything in the benefit of anybody, in the benefit of common people on the ground. Nigeria only want to, to place us in a predicament where we've been prior to 1960, prior to 1967, prior to 1970. We are in the predicament. We are still there, and we are crying. We are crying. Does that mean that nobody is there to hear our cry? More than 5 million women and children was killed in 1967 to 1970. No one was held accountable for a war crime committed on our people. No, absolutely no one was held accountable. And today, we are still being killed. We are still being killed. We are still being marginalized. We are still being committing no crime for exercising our human right. Of course, you saw what happened in 2020 in Lekki Toll Gate. That is what you people, the whole world, you saw. The one you are not seeing is actually more evil than the one you saw in Lekki Toll Gate. Of course, you saw their media person coming out to say that what you saw in Lekki Toll Gate was a propaganda. So that is exactly what has been happening to us. And that is our story. And this is our story. We will continue to remind the world. We will continue to tell our story until we are free. All we are asking for, nothing less, nothing more, is referendum for everybody to decide where they want to be. Just like our leader will say, and I will quote him verbatim, that he is not against a unification of Africa. He is not against a Pan-African movement, because before Pan-African movement will be powerful, Biafra must be restored, because we will join that movement. We are going to make sure that Africa is united, that Africa is great again, because this continent of Africa is a land that Chukwokika Biama Elohim, the one you call God, blessed and gave it every resources that can help man to thrive. But because of the politics that is being played on us, because of the politics that our leaders are allowing themselves to be used to play against her own people, Africa growth is on a limbo. And that is the reason why I am calling on any generation of Africa to rise up, because it is time for us to be free. We can no longer allow these few individuals to make a decisions of what is happening, of what will happen to us and our generation. From generation to generation, we will continue to receive the same treatment from these people. We can no longer bear that. We are human and our lives matters. And that is what we are saying. I want you to watch what is going on, what is going to happen on the 28th of June. Come the court proceedings of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I want you to watch what is going to happen. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released on 28th, then disregard this information that I am giving you. But if it's not released, you must regard this information and know that we do not push propaganda. I am calling on the international community. You will verify the authenticity of this information that I am passing out today, that I am sharing on the public domain. Come 28th, come the 28th of June, 2022. The judge has no say, because according to their report, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still on bail. They are not even granting him a bail. He is still on bail, according to the report, according to all the evidence gathered against Nigeria. And Nigeria could not produce any evidence that is going to incriminate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the reason why they are playing their last joker by busting pipelines, blaming it on IPOB. But this generation, we cannot allow that. There is a saying that says, we will continue to fight until police arrives. We are not giving up. If they believe that that whatever they do is going to kill our spirit, is going to kill our souls, no, it is not going to destroy us. Rather, what cannot kill us will only make us strong. That is what this generation believes, and that is the modus operandi of this generation. What cannot kill us will always make us strong. I saw so many people castigating and undermining the power of the spirit that is leading IPOB. People in the likes of Ijele. I am here to advise you, Ijele. You are dancing a dance of a spirit. You are dancing surugede, and you will understand this. You will understand this language that you are dancing surugede. You are dancing a dance of the spirit, and the ones that are on, and that is what you are doing, rising up against your people. It is not going to help you. If you sell your people to Fulani, it will never make Fulani to trust you. It will never make Fulani to call you their own. It makes them to be very, very vigilant around you. I am advising you to retrace your step while you can. Retrace your step while you can. You are supposed to be also on this mission. What took you away from Nigeria and you traveled to Turkey or wherever you found yourself, where you were before you started working for the caliphate? What took you away from that same place where you are at now, sabotaging our movement, sabotaging the activities of those who have, sacrificed everything to give you and your unborn generation freedom? It was not because you have it on a platter of gold in that place where you call your country. You never had it on a platter of gold before you run away from that place. You never had it easy before you run away from that place. Rather, it was the same thing that chased me away from that same place, that chased you away. It was the same thing that chased millions of Biafrans away from that same place, the same thing that chased you away from the same place. I want you to retract your step. I want you to retract your step. Ujele or Udene, whichever you call yourself, retract your step while you can. You can never win this battle that you are, this war that you are waging against thy people. You can never win it. And I know, because I told you that if you go to the podium or if you go to the court of law of Nigeria to give a false testimony against IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that you are going to commit a perjury. You are going to commit a perjury. That is the reason why whenever it is coming closer to the court sitting of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you will go and make yourself available in this Fulani medias, and you will be talking rubbish against thy people. How long shall they kill our prophet while we stand aside and look? That's what I am going to tell you. Orufulebe jimbazwenyo ruibia. Onamuyamu. Omaro that the same fate comes to him. What we are doing, it is not a child's play. There is a saying that says that the head of Abaraba is not good for child play. You are dancing surugede. You are dancing the dance of the spirit. And the spirit that is, that is leading this movement, the spirit that is empowering us to continue to fight until we restore the dignity of mankind in that place, in that region of sub-Saharan, it is going to locate you. That spirit is going to locate you, and everybody that is in support of what you are doing, and everybody that is in support of all these injustices that is being meted on our people, all of you, the spirit of Biafra, it is going to bring a rain in your lives. It is going to bring a rain in your life. Mark today's date and mark my word. And I am going to leave it here. Nigeria will happen to all of you who are involved in our predicament. Nigeria is going to happen to all of you. And when that happens, you will remember my word. And all of you who have turned back and forgotten the man who is ready to die to restore your dignity, and you are there advocating for presidency 2023, which you are not sure of your faith, you are not sure of what is going to happen there, Nigeria will happen to you. Sooner or later, Nigeria will happen to you. And I'm calling on all IPOBs, all Biafrans around the world to remain resolute, to remain formidable. We keep praying for there must be a confusion in that cabals in Aso Rock. There must be a confusion there for something to happen. It takes only your prayers. It takes only your hard work to achieve that. Not sentiment. It is your prayers and your hard work that it will take to achieve that. I am going to leave it here. Great Biafrans all over the world, we must remain resolute. Just like our leader will always say, we must remain formidable, steadfast in prayer. Don't be disheartened. Don't lose hope. Because God is the man, is the person, is the supreme that will give you hope when all hope is lost. He is the one that is going to give you hope. We are getting a call. Even though we did not want to have a call, but I will take this call, maybe only this one, before we call it a day. The caller on the line, your name and where you're calling from, please.
You're online? Are you online?
Yes, I'm online. Yes. No, no, I'm already online. I'm almost done. I thought you were calling for the program. Okay, go on.
My name is American here. Go ahead.
Hello, are you there?
Right? Yeah, should I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Marian here. I believe your audience know me by now. I'm calling from Maryland. I was just listening to you. I thought it was late. What I would have loved you to add to the broadcast you made now, brilliant, is calling on our people, especially our writers, to kind of buttress and add to the propagation of what you have just done. Somebody like, I think we have a writer, Elochukwu or Sport, and some of them, because I saw one of them put up a write-up yesterday. But I would love if they can go in depth. What I mean by that is catalog the recent train, the bombing of the train, the killing of Deborah, the church massacre in Owo, the kidnap of the prelate, because we have to counter this narrative this man called himself Buhari put up. We cannot just take it. I know that's what you're trying to do. You did a phenomenal job. We need what I will call evidence to present it to the international community. We cannot just say it. We have to bring our facts. So all these recent events that happened in Nigeria continue to happen, the recent ones, because in his statement, he's claiming that he has quashed the insurgency. He has quashed Boko Haram. He has done this, though he hasn't. Okay? And then because he's trying to justify, trying to rouse the international community for them to tag IPOB terrorists, which it doesn't really work that way. We cannot let it lie low. Then we must, because if I come, that's what I would have done. We must too invoke Asari Dokubo, the role he has been playing in that side of the part of the country, because I know that the international community may know, but we need to give them clarity. This section where this oil is coming, who has control? Asari Dokubo has control. That the Delta militants are the ones carrying the pipeline, has nothing to do with IPOB. We must make our argument clean and clear. That's what I'm trying to establish here. Even the argument, the statement somebody like Tinubu made last month when he thought that he was going to be subverted by this cabal, he came out on social media and made a statement that the person in Asu Rock, that was an accusation he made, that person in Asu Rock is somebody from Sudan they paid, and that if they don't allow him to have his way, he was going to expose that the leader of Boko Haram is still in Asu Rock. We must make this argument. So that's why I'm invoking people like you that have outlets, platform, our writers to compile this in a powerful way, disseminate it through Twitter, tag all the embassies, let them see the hard evidence. I know they may have it, but we need to make our own counter argument. That's what I was calling for. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you very much for that input. God bless you. So I don't know if we got the, what our sister was trying to say. Because we need to start a campaign. And that campaign will be where all the incidents and activities, terrorists, the activities that is still going on in Nigeria, we need to compile them. We need to bring them back. No community will also, we know that they are aware of everything going on, but we need to keep reminding them. We're having another call. We're having another caller. Let me take that. Let us take this call. The caller on the line, your name and where you are calling from, please.
Greetings, good morning.
Greetings.
This is Lion from Nigeria.
Go ahead.
My name is Lion from Nigeria.
Go ahead.
First, I want to tell you that we appreciate your exposition today, and the Biafrans all over the world listening to you. We are not hopeful for any gift from Buhari. We will get our freedom. We are not begging for freedom. The release of our leader is not our priority. Our priority is Biafra. Let it be known to them that they can play politics. They can keep their joker. Our leader is not worried, is not asking them for anything rather than the Biafra. Let them go ahead and do their politics. At the end, Biafra must come. We are not surrendering. We are not afraid of them. Only truth can break them down. That's what I want to add. I appreciate you. I appreciate your program all the time. And I will always stand by you and listen to you every time because you are making sense. It's not like those people who are making money, who are playing with our struggle. People like the autopilots and the co. They are not making sense to me. This is only place where I listen to the reality of this struggle. Like the exposition you have just done today, not many people will do it. So I appreciate you, Judge Money. Lion greeting you all the way from Biafra land.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you. So, and we are calling on our IPOB media writers, media warriors. We need to start pushing up a campaign. We need to start compiling all these things that the man in Aso Rock has, made a claim on, saying that they have, they have stopped the insecurity, that it is only Ipob that is left. So we need to start reminding them Ondo massacre. We need to start reminding them the train attack. We need to start reminding them of all these atrocious things, mayhem that is going on across that contraption called Nigeria. We need to start bringing it back. We need to start compiling it and exposing it, especially on Twitter. Believe you me, even on Facebook, whoever you say at, you tag them, they will receive that message that you are sending direct to them, their page. They will see it as a notification in their page. So it is very, very important. Whichever messages we are sending to the world, we must make it clear and we must tag the organization, the country, the world, the leaders that we are sending those messages to. Our voice must be heard. Our voice must be heard. That is the only way we are going to thrive. But with the help of Chukwu Okike Abiama, I am not biased. I am not tired. I am not giving up. And likewise, I know that all the formidable Biafrans, you are doing the same and you believe in this cause. It is a righteous cause. It is not, it is not evil. It is a just cause. And we are going to fight until we'll achieve it. Thank you, Biafrans, for watching this program. If you are watching on Twitter, on YouTube at Judge Money Blog Africa, kindly like the video for the algorithm to continue to share the video. If you are watching from Judge Money Official, make sure you follow the page and click the notification buttons in order to receive those notifications each time we come online. Until we meet again, stay safe and stay informed.